Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Junior Achievement of Maine's Hall of Fame event. Thank you all so much for being here. Yes, clapping. Clapping is good. I love clapping. I appreciate that energy. Please keep bringing that throughout the rest of the night. So before we jump into our program for this evening, I just want to start by acknowledging one of the major reasons that we have all come together today, and that is to recognize and celebrate 3 transformational leaders in our community, all of whom have dedicated years of their life to making Maine a stronger and more vibrant place. Now, we'll get an opportunity to hear a lot more about each one of these amazing people later tonight, and we'll get to hear directly from each of them. But I just want to start things off with a huge round of applause for each one of our honorees tonight, starting with David A. Greene from Colby College. Can we give it up for President Greene? Yes. Our second laureate this evening is LuAnn Ballesteros from Jackson Laboratory. Can we hear it for LuAnn, please? Yeah, I love that. And our third and final laureate this evening is Guy Langevin. Can we hear it for Guy? So, you've probably noticed that there is a salad sitting in front of you. It is not ornamental. It's meant to be eaten. So go ahead. You can start eating that salad right now. And just know that we're going to be eating dinner throughout the program this evening. So start with your salad right now. Dinner will be served. And feel free to start eating your food as soon as it arrives. For those of you who don't know me, my name, and that's actually probably like every single person in this room, but my name is Kumar Bal Subramanian, and I am actually a vice president at the Junior Achievement Office in Minnesota. So I have, Minnesota, all right. I love that. You know, I have the immense privilege of seeing the importance, the power, and the transformational impact of junior achievement programs every single day. And I am so inspired by the amazing work that is happening all across the state of Maine. I mean, like, this is truly one of the strongest junior achievement areas that we have, and I just feel so honored to be here tonight. Now, you might be asking yourself, Minnesota, why is this random guy from halfway across the country even here with us tonight? But I think us M states, you know, we got to stick together, you know? Thank you. And Minnesota and Maine, I feel like we've got a lot in common. I mean, we both have incredibly beautiful nature, right? We have Voyageurs National Park up in the Boundary Waters. You all have the most stunning national park in the entire country, Acadia National Park, right? Give it up for Acadia. And not only nature, I mean, I think we've got some of the most beautiful people. I mean, this might be the most gorgeous crowd I've ever seen before, right? Yeah. You know, Minnesota and Maine, we're both pretty good with snow, right? So whether it's a nor'easter or a polar vortex, a blizzard, that never scared us, you know? And we have to deal with some of the most annoying neighbors. I mean, we've got Wisconsin, you've got New Hampshire, not to mention Massachusetts. I mean, it takes a special kind of character to deal with people like that. You know what I'm talking about. But perhaps most importantly, the thing that we share in common are incredibly inspiring young people who desperately deserve and need our support. And I feel like we live in kind of a unique time. A time that requires us to support our young people more now than ever before. I mean, we live in a time where economic mobility is on the decline. It's decreased by 45% over the last few decades. That means that fewer and fewer young people are being set on a path to earn more money than their parents. And then on top of that, the workforce landscape is changing drastically what seems like every single day. I mean, there's a lot of research out there that says that many of the skills that we use in the workplace every day and that are being taught to students in schools are going to be obsolete. They're going to be outdated in as few as 5 years. And so given this really challenging environment that our young people are facing, I believe that it's our prerogative, every single one of us, to do all that we can to ensure that this generation is set up for success. And that's where Junior Achievement of Maine comes in. We have incredibly innovative programs and hands-on experiences that equip young people with both the skill set and the mindset necessary to be the leaders of tomorrow. And that's why I'm just so inspired. I mean, like, this is a huge room. There are so many people in here today. And to have all of you coming together to celebrate and support this mission is a truly powerful thing. And yes, we're here to celebrate and honor some amazing business leaders, but we're also here to support the work of Junior Achievement of Maine. And quite frankly, we're here to raise a little bit of money to make sure that thousands and thousands more students across Maine can take advantage of these absolutely critical programs. And so, speaking of financial support, I do want to take a moment to thank the amazing sponsors who made this evening possible. And now, I love clapping, like I mentioned, but I got a lot of sponsors that I'm going to roll through, so if you could just hold your applause until we get through all of the sponsors, then we can cheer for all of them at once. That would be great. So, I'd love to start with our presenting sponsor, a longtime supporter of Junior Achievement of Maine, Central Maine Power. Yeah, I know. I wanted to clap too. I set it up, but after this, we can clap. Let's clap for Central Maine Power. They deserve it. They get a clap, yes. But the rest of them, we'll hold our applause. All right, so our next sponsor, our visionary sponsor, is MEMIC. Our laureate reception sponsors are Bank of America and Cross Insurance. Our student presenting sponsors are Consigli Construction, Dead River, and Machias Savings Bank. I love a good woo. I appreciate that. Our innovation sponsors are Bar Harbor Bank and Trust, Camden National Bank, Darlings Auto, Maine Technology Institute, Goodwoo, MMG Insurance, Northeast Bank, and WEX. And then we have a number of leadership sponsors as well. I'm not going to read all their names, but you can see their names up here on the screen, and they're in your program. So now, can we give it up for all of our incredible sponsors who made this evening possible? Thank you. Thank you. Now, you might be able to tell, like, I get pretty jazzed about junior achievement stuff. I love this work. I really, really believe in it. But of course, like, I'm very biased. I work at junior achievement. But I see the incredible impact that it leaves on students, and I see the way that it fills these gaps that exist in our education system. But you don't have to just believe me. You don't have to take my word on it. Because this evening, you're going to get an opportunity to hear from some amazing, and I mean like really, really amazing young people who have experienced Junior Achievements programs and are going to tell you a little bit about the impact that it's had on them. So I am so honored to be able to bring up on stage our first student speaker, Herman Middle School's own Bennett Brown. Can we please give it up for Bennett? Yes, the man in the beautiful hat, Bennett.
Hi, my name is Bennett Brown, and I'm a sixth grader at Herman Middle School. I've been lucky to have junior achievement in my classroom since second grade. Last year, Miss Hughes of Maine Savings Federal Credit Union taught JA, our nation, to my entire grade through JA in a day. Actually, I think she's here tonight. Miss Hughes, are you out there? Thanks so much for coming to my classroom. Miss Hughes taught us words and concepts like STEM, paying taxes, economics, and being an entrepreneur. When she said that last word, entrepreneur, my brain lit up. I had so many questions and thoughts, I could not stop raising my hand. You see, my dad owns his own business, and being an entrepreneur lets you pick the job you're good at. It also means being able to provide jobs to people in your community and help them support their families. Local businesses can help individuals by supporting sports teams, hiring people, and donating to local nonprofits. Kind of like what you're all doing here tonight. At one point in the day, Miss Hughes has to do an activity where we created our own business. Even though I've grown up around business and stuff, it was totally different doing it myself. And let me tell you, being an entrepreneur is way harder than it looks. I had to think about what people actually want to buy and what they'd spend money on. I learned that doing research is a big deal, and asking people for feedback can make your product way better. That kind of activity also helped me figure out what kind of teammate and leader I am. I found out I'm good at making people laugh and keeping the team positive. I also asked a lot of questions, which helped us think in new ways. Miss Hughes said curiosity is a big deal, and that's great I ask so many questions. That kind of thinking is super valuable if you want to be an entrepreneur, because it helps you solve problems and see things differently. From what I've learned, having that kind of mindset is really important for success. And honestly, I think a lot of you in the audience probably have those same traits because you're business leaders in Maine. That's something I hope to be when I grow up, and someday I want to go into global IT. I like that it involves technology, the STEM career, and uses skills I'm good at, like math, working with computers, and coding, or as Ms. Hughes calls them, hard skills. And thanks in part to JA, I also have some soft skills too, like having a strong handshake, looking people in the eye, and public speaking. Maybe by the time I graduate, Maine's tech industry will have a place for me. JA in a day taught me a lot about real life, and it felt really good to have the volunteer call me and be interested in my questions and opinions. A lot can happen from having a JA learning experience come into your classroom. I feel more prepared to own my own business, more confident in my unique skill sets. And to be honest, it led me being here with you and speaking at the Maine Business Hall of Fame. I'm super thankful that I've had JA in my classroom for so many years. Just imagine if even more students across Maine got to have this experience too, how confident, ready they'd feel for their futures.
He looks good, he sounds good, and he's coming for your jobs, people. You better be ready. So thank you so much, Bennett. We really, really appreciate it. That's incredible. I mean, imagine that. Imagine being a sixth grader and standing in front of a room of 500 people and giving a speech like that. That is not an easy thing to do, and that's the type of skills that we are equipping our young people with. Now, before we bring up our next student group, I'm so excited to bring on stage the visionary leader of Junior Achievement of Maine, one of the strongest presidents across the entire Junior Achievement Network. Please help me in welcoming to the stage Michelle Anderson.
Thank you, Kumar. Is he not just so much energy and passion? Give it up for Kumar. Thank you for being here. Hello, everyone. Tonight we gather to celebrate excellence, vision, and the power of purpose-driven leadership. We honor our laureates, David, LuAnn, and Guy, individuals whose leadership, innovation, and integrity have shaped Maine's business landscape and inspired generations. Congratulations to each of you. Your stories remind us what is possible when vision is matched with grit, when purpose meets perseverance. We also celebrate the incredible team behind Junior Achievement of Maine. We have a team of 8, 29-member board of directors, alumni in the room tonight, and over 800 volunteers. So if you're a team member, a board member, an alumni, or volunteer, stand up, let's celebrate you. So incredible. So many people in the room. Thank you all for your service. This year marks 60 years with Junior Achievement of Maine, 6 decades of being agile, innovative, and relentlessly focused on adapting to meet the needs of students and the workforce. JA stands at the intersection of education and economic mobility, a position that has never been more vital than it is today. You may know us as a financial literacy organization, but what you'll see is that we are so much more. Let's take a look.
Junior Achievement accelerates economic opportunity and mobility for youth. We want to see Maine student body empowered to become the state's future leaders, business owners, and community developers. Working with the students of today, we're ensuring a skilled workforce for tomorrow. We're playing the long game, with a focus on access to networking and opportunities, education and academics, transferable skills and competencies, student engagement with a growth mindset. Career exploration and exposure is happening younger and younger. Elementary school students have the most time to learn and contemplate the opportunities available to them. As a volunteer, you're sharing your professional insight and featuring the organization you work for. It won't be long before these students could be your next potential hire. Job Shadows bring JA learning experiences to life. By exposing students to career pathways and industries available to them in Maine before they graduate, we plant the seed of what is possible after. They showcase the departments of a company and highlight opportunities that exist there, letting them see themselves in the roles your company offers. These are future automotive workers, healthcare professionals, C-suite executives, hospitality managers, and more. Learning experiences like JA Titan, JA Personal Finance, and JA Career Speakers build confidence and allow students to network with seasoned business professionals. They offer tools to identify career fields and a stepping stone for students to reach their potential. These K-12 learning experiences work to even the playing field for economic growth and mobility for Maine students. We work with our educational and business partners to spark motivation and confidence. You can be a part of that spark. 56% of JA alumni go into the same field as their volunteer. 89% of JA alumni agree that it made them think of new work opportunities or career paths. Over half of JA alumni say their work ethic, career choices, or money management were positively influenced by junior achievement experiences. And 87% of JA alums believe it played an important role in shaping their belief they can achieve their goals. These are the outcomes we can achieve when we come together to empower students. While they may be students today, soon they'll be the leaders, community developers, and business owners we all want from Maine. Join us and invest in students across Maine.
Junior achievement delivers real value, and our impact will only deepen. We are at a pivotal moment in Maine's history where the future demands bold, intentional action. We don't have a workforce to fill jobs. Students are set to earn less than their parents. The skills needed for the future are ever evolving, and student engagement consistently needs reinvention. These may sound like challenges, but we see them as opportunities. And JA is uniquely positioned to meet them head on. With every volunteer hour and every student interaction, we're not just teaching, we're transforming. We're igniting curiosity, fueling economic mobility, and laying the future and foundation for Maine's future workforce. Imagine a student not just learning about a career, but actually stepping into it, putting on that hard hat, that lab coat, that pair of bean boots, and seeing themselves as part of Maine's economy. Picture them building a budget based on their dreams or navigating that first car loan. That is why we are investing in career-connected learning through a future experiential learning center and mobile pop-up, so that every student, no matter their zip code, can see themselves in a future filled with possibility, with purpose, and with choice. This relevant real-world experience helps students see the connection between what they are learning in school to what they can become. And the Experiential Learning Center and mobile pop-up, our North Star, are where students don't just learn, they experience. They engage, explore, and envision the future rooted right here in Maine's economy and possibility. Because student engagement is more than just a buzzword. It's a powerful early indicator of long-term success, academically, economically, and personally. Engagement drives motivation, improves attendance, boosts academic performance, and gives and increases graduation rates. But most importantly, it gives students hope. They develop a growth mindset and a future orientation, a belief that they can live a choice-filled life. And when students believe they can grow, they can achieve more. They feel empowered, and they dream bigger. And tonight, you are going to hear real examples of this. You're going to hear from students whose lives have been changed by JA. You'll hear the impact of our volunteers representing diverse industries across our state. And you'll understand why schools trust us and why we are uniquely positioned, with the support of our strategic partners, many in the room, to do it better than anyone else. So tonight, let's celebrate and let's also commit. Let's commit to building a future where every Maine student has the access to tools, experiences, and mentors they need to succeed. Let's commit to expanding our reach and deepening our impact and leading with vision. Because the future of Maine's workforce is sitting in a classroom today, waiting, hoping, and counting on us to show up. And you are about to hear from two right now. It is my pleasure to welcome 5th grade students, Harper and Natalie, to share a little bit more.
Hello everyone, my name is Natalie Dickerson and I'm a 5th grader at Wells Junior High School. This is my best friend Harper. and we've known each other for 10 years, so basically our whole lives. I'm very excited to share what we've learned through junior achievement over the years. Let's jump right into it. First off, my JA volunteer was Tom from the U.S. Navy, and he is a Chief Navy diver. How cool is that? He mentored us on the value of money and jobs we can have in the future. We could even run our own business one day. Did you know money is a very valuable thing? Everyone should learn how to save, spend, and invest. Money is used to buy things you need and want. It is important to know the needs come first. There are so many different forms of money. Some forms are cash, credit, and debit cards, checks, and Venmo. Now that we know all the forms of money, let's talk about how money works. You have to earn money by having a job. It is important to find a job that makes you happy, because if you're not happy, you'll come home grumpy. And that is not putting your mind in a good place. Once you earn money, you have to put it somewhere like a bank account or a safe. Tom mentored us on ways to earn money, and we learned how to become entrepreneurs and start our own business. Me and my classmate, or some of you would say, business partner, started Natalie and Ada's babysitting business. We learned to make our business unique by coming with everything parents need to take care of the baby, so they don't need to worry. Some of the items we bring are bottles, burp cloths, and toys. Tom taught us these startup costs, so we decided we would charge $15 per child to make the profit. I learned it takes patience, creativity, confidence, and teamwork to run a successful business. After having JA in my classroom, I see myself becoming a business owner in the future. I like working with my hands and experimenting, and who knows, I could become a scientist someday and start my own slime business. What I want to leave you with tonight is that junior achievement is something I want to do again, and more kids should get to do it too. All of you in this room should consider being a JA volunteer to mentor kids like me. Thank you for hearing me out, and now I'm going to turn it over to my best friend, Harper.
Thanks, Natalie. Good evening, everyone. My name is Harper Draheim, and I'm here to share my experience with Junior Achievement 2. One of the coolest parts of JA are the volunteers. My mom, Hammy, who works at Bangor Savings Bank, and she comes to my class every year to teach us JA. I love it. As a banker, her job is to work with businesses to help them get loans to start and grow, which was really helpful because we became business owners in JA. We also learned about needs versus wants. Turns out chocolate is a want, not a need. Bummer. Different jobs in our community like truck driver, first responder, teacher, and banker. And we even learned about taxes, which were a little complicated but still fun. Grown-ups pay taxes on their house, their cars, and the things they buy, and that helps pay for teachers, firefighters, and librarians. But the most fun we had was when we became entrepreneurs. That means someone who starts a business, and we got to make our own business plans and present them to the bank, which was my mom. Being the boss and making all the decisions made me feel happy, but it was also frustrating because there are a lot of decisions to make, like how we'll pay for things like electricity, heating, water, our employees, and taxes. My friend Caroline and I started our own flower shop called C&H Flowers. We used the 5 W's, who, what, when, where, and why, to build our plan. If I had a second business, it would be a chocolate shop because I really love chocolate. As someone with a lot of business ideas, I'm excited to see where I end up going to college, what I will do for a job, and where I will live. I have a while before I need to make any decisions, but thanks to JA, I feel more confident in making them. Colby College, be on the lookout for my application in a few years. A big thank you to all the volunteers and teachers for helping us learn and grow every day. And a thank you to Consigli Construction, Dead River Company, and Machias Savings Bank for sponsoring all the JA students up here tonight. You make a big difference. Thank you.
Time for Natalie and Harper. Incredible. These students are incredible. And Harper, I will be the first customer at your chocolate business any day. So let me know when that gets started. So one of the things that I love about Junior Achievement is that we have programs for students of all ages. We start as early as kindergarten, and we have things for students all the way until they're in high school. And so you had a chance to hear from some of our 5th and 6th graders, but our final student speakers this evening are coming to us from Deering High School. They've had the opportunity to experience a bunch of different Junior Achievement programs, and I am so honored to bring them to the stage. So please help me in welcoming Zaid and Elijah. Come on up, you guys. Yes. Very, very impressive individuals.
It's great to be here tonight. I'm joining you with my classmate, wide receiver, and friend, Elijah. We're both from Deering High School. Go Rams. And we had the opportunity to experience JA career speakers and JA Titan in our classroom. We represent the student statistics from the video you watched earlier. We were exposed to career pathways, given access to networks, and we saw ourselves as part of Maine's tech industry. We're part of the 89% of students who learned about new work opportunities and the 50% of students whose career choices were positively impacted by JA. And we're both your next potential hire.
Hi, everyone. Like Zaid said, I'm Elijah, and you probably recognize us from scoring touchdowns on the football field and winning the regional championship in the video you just watched. All jokes aside, the biggest thing I'd like to leave you here tonight is I care about my future, and JA supported the belief in myself and what I'd like to accomplish. Over the course of last school year, we were introduced to 4 different companies in Maine: IDEX, Northern Light, Evergreen Credit Union, and Systems Engineering. We had opportunities to learn about different careers in each company and each volunteer's professional journey through JA career speakers. Thank you to our teacher, Ms. Carrot, who is here tonight, for working with JA to put this together for us. Zaid and I became the CEO of a cell phone company who brought to profit and won the regional championship of JA Titan. And we're coming for states next year. JA put a lot of ideas in my mind about what goes on in a company, from production, research and development, to marketing. I didn't know there were different opportunities within a business like this, or in fact that they were tech companies in Maine. I always thought they were just in California. I'm interested for tech in my future, and JA Titan, and I can see myself in a tech job in Maine after I graduate. Maybe I'll be an engineer. To be honest, I'm a pretty good thinker, and I have good ideas, and there's money to be made, money I can put back in Maine's economy.
JA Titan was incredible. It allowed me to become a CEO, and it gave my team the chance to see how a business works. Literally, the steps, the processes, to succeeding, and to sometimes even failing. Putting all of that together and trying to get better and be competitive and have fun at what you do. I learned a lot, and I saw myself get a lot better at JA Titan. I can say now, I have more knowledge. I know how to run a business, and even in fact, a successful business.
That success came through when Deering was placed against Portland out in systems engineering. We competed against them on the football field, again, go Rams, and we competed against them during the JA Titan Challenge. At first, it was intimidating to hear that the Portland teams had been practicing for 3 years compared to our 3 months, but we didn't let that bring us down. Zaid and I, along with the other classmate who couldn't be here tonight, shout out Finn, formed a team and each held crucial roles throughout the competition. Our dynamic was always changing. At times, I got to be the leader while Finn hyped us up and Zaid strategized, when other times Zaid would take control and put into play great ideas to sell more products. And then Finn would come up with marketing strategies.
Looking back, 3 words that stand out from our JA experiences and what we learned from the volunteers we met are teamwork, competition, and cooperation. There are so many intersections between what we learned from JA to real life. When Elijah and I play football together and we're on that field, we have each other's backs. We all play different roles and work together to make the team successful. Like a sport, practice is needed. And working with the volunteers in Titan simulation in our class made us more confident for the actual challenge. We trusted our strategy and we practiced everything and we were ready for game day. It's the same within our families and the leadership roles we take on there too. We apply those same skills to everything we do in our lives, and JA Titan reinforced that, and it was really cool to make that connection. JA gave us the chance to practice public speaking and build our network and gain confidence into talking to new people, and we learned what it takes to lead company to a profit. I actually want to go into a business, and having volunteers come into our classroom and share their careers with us made me think about my future. In fact, Brenda Polak from Evergreen Credit Union came to our class and spoke about financial management. I believe she's here tonight. Wherever you are, Ms. Polak, I want you to know I set up a Roth IRA, and my sister then followed my lead and set up one too. Elijah and I are excited to be here tonight and celebrate with over 400 leaders of Maine's business community. In addition to the career speakers and the JA Titan experience, having this opportunity to be here on this stage lets me see myself in this crowd of people. It feels good that you all have valued my opinion, and this is a big part of our future success.
I consider myself lucky for how I was raised, and JA reinforced those elements of success that I will carry with me after I graduate. We're sure everyone in this room shows teamwork, competition, and cooperation in everyday work. And the Laureates being abducted into this year's Maine Business Hall of Fame are great examples for what's possible for our future. It's great to know Zaid and I share so many similarities with you all, and remember us when we start applying for jobs. You're gonna want both of us on your team.
Thank you to the volunteers, donors, and partners who make JA possible. Elijah and I both took so much from our experiences, and because of them, we're empowered to become Maine's future leaders, business owners, and community developers. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's give it up for Zaid and Elijah one more time. You guys killed it. That was amazing. Well done, gentlemen. In fact, can we just give it up for all of our student speakers this evening? They did such an amazing job. Natalie, Harper, Bennett, thank you all so much. It is so impressive. Okay, I am going to get us started with the second half of our program this evening. The second half is all about celebrating our laureates. And our laureates, our honorees this year, are joining a long-standing tradition. It's an elite club, an elite community of amazing people who have been the Hall of Fame laureates in the past, and we have a number of those laureates with us tonight. So if you are a former Hall of Fame laureate, if you would please stand up. We'd just like to recognize you. Their names are up here on the screen. Let's give it up for our former laureates, incredible people. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. That is truly some of the best from the business community here in Maine, and we're so excited to induct this next group. But we couldn't have done that without the hard work of a selection committee. It's not easy to pick these laureates, and we had a fantastic group of people who came together as a selection committee and put in a lot of time and effort into this. So, can we give it up for our selection committee members? Selection committee members, if you're here, if you wouldn't mind standing up as well. Thank you all so much. Also esteemed people, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So to get us started on the laureate half of our program, I'm going to give a moment to our presenting sponsor, Central Maine Power's president, Linda Ball. Please give it up for Linda.
Good evening. I have to say, between Kumar's energy, Michelle's delivery, Bennett, Zaid, Elijah, Natalie, and Harper, y'all are a tough crowd to follow. So we're going to make this quick. I'm Linda Ball. I'm the new president of Central Maine Power Company. I've been told I get to use the word new for about 11 and a half more months, and I'm going to use it every single day of that. On behalf of myself and about 1,000 employees here at CMP, I'm honored to welcome y'all tonight as the presenting sponsor of JA's Maine Business Hall of Fame. This event is a celebration of Maine's entrepreneurial spirit, and it highlights our state's leaders who have built businesses and shaped our communities. Congratulations to tonight's laureates, whose achievements inspire us all and remind us of what's possible when opportunity meets talent. We're also here to celebrate the students who represent the future of our workforce. I have to tell you, at those ages, like the students here tonight, I would not have had the composure to stand up here tonight and give a speech to this room. Standing here, just so you all know, it's very dark out there. You see a couple of faces and bright lights in your eyes. I can't imagine doing that at 10 years old. It's inspiring, and I can't wait to see what they do. At CMP, we believe deeply in the power of opportunity. That's why our partnership with JA is so important to us. We're proud to sponsor their mission to prepare students for success not only at work, but in life. And we're especially proud of our employees, like David here tonight, who volunteer in classrooms across the state, helping students connect what they learn in school with their real-world careers. Careers at CMP represent an incredible opportunity for Maine students who want to build their future right here at home. As we modernize our grid at CMP and we train the next generation of our workforce, we're looking for innovators, problem solvers, line workers, and leaders. And I know that they're sitting in Maine classrooms today. So thanks to every one of you who are helping train them to be our next generation's workforce and to make Maine even better than it is today. Together with Junior Achievement, we're working to bridge the gap between education and employment, to strengthen Maine's talent pipeline, and to empower students to imagine bold futures for themselves and their communities. Thanks to all of you for supporting this fabulous organization and for joining us tonight in building a brighter future for all of us here in Maine.
You did great. Let's give it up one more time for the new president, Linda Ball. 11 more months. She's new. She's new and she rocked it. We love that. Okay, so now to introduce our first laureate of the night, we have a representative from our visionary sponsor, MEMIC. Please help me in welcoming Karen Schwartz. Come on up, Karen. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight as we celebrate our laureates. MEMIC has had a very long, wonderful partnership with Junior Achievement. Our former CEO, John Leonard, and our current CEO, Michael Bork, are both past laureates, and I'm a very proud board member and volunteer. We fully support Junior Achievement's role in preparing students for future success and developing the next generation of Maine leaders. It is my pleasure tonight to introduce to you David A. Greene, who has led Colby College through transformational change since becoming its 20th president in 2014. The college has added new academic programs, dramatically enhanced its arts programs, collections, and infrastructure, catalyzed
$250 million in investments in downtown Waterville, and connected its curriculum to the world's most pressing challenges through global research and internship experiences for students. These initiatives, along with the most generous financial aid packages for low and middle income families, have made Colby the most sought after liberal arts college in the country. Just let that sink in for a minute. Let's learn more about what makes President David A. Greene invaluable to Maine.
David is unique. He understands the synergy between higher ed and the arts and economic development. His leadership at Colby College has triggered millions of dollars in other investments that have revitalized Main Street in Waterville and have cemented Waterville's status as a regional, cultural, and economic hub. So congratulations to you, David Greene, my friend. Your commitment to transforming Colby College and jump-starting economic growth in the Waterville area and in the state of Maine is second to none.
If you wanted to have a great example of leadership and the impact great leadership can have on a community and an institution, you'd start right with David Greene, right from the top.
The guy has vision, but more importantly, he can execute. And when he executes, it's done right.
He's someone that constantly sees possibility in areas where people see problems. Loves sticky challenges because it gives his teams and his community and his leadership group and him personally really, really exciting things to tackle.
First of all, very personable, just felt an immediate connection, and I see that in the work that I do with David now. He connects with people at a very authentic, kind of human level.
If he comes to visit with you, you want to lock up the checkbook.
High expectations. I mean, Colby is an institution that we have high expectations for the experience we're going to provide to our students, how we're going to give back to our community.
I think he's a taskmaster, okay? So he asks the people that work with him and for him to do a great job, and he holds them accountable.
And so he really encourages people to really bring their best every day.
And you know, when you feel like, hey man, I'm working really, really hard, you're gonna look to the right and you're gonna see your boss working harder than everyone and just giving a little bit more to a project, giving a little bit more to the community, and that's inspiring.
David said when he was hired, hang on, because we're going places.
The way the college has grown under his leadership is extraordinary. It is now the most selective small college in the United States by far.
When I met David, he was very unique in that way of being able to think really big picture.
He saw the connected advantages of a flourishing Colby required a flourishing Waterville, and a flourishing Waterville had tremendous benefits for Colby. And then that grew into a multi-billion-dollar impact on the state of Maine.
The connection between the college and the town was just so important to David, and higher education's role is to be connected with the community that's around it.
Always thinking about the walls beyond the college, beyond Mayflower Hill. How are we giving back to Waterville? How are we giving back to the surrounding community? How are we giving back to Maine? How are we giving back to society overall, especially in thinking about how are we sending our students out to be good citizens of the world.
The aspirations that it opens up for these young people, junior achievement, is fantastic. And why is David a good honoree? Because he incorporates it all. He incorporates it all, and he's a good person. And that rings through to anybody he meets, young, old, doesn't matter.
You could not have picked a stronger business leader, community leader, organizational leader. You could not have picked a better dad, a better friend, and someone who cares more about Maine.
I got to tell you, it's an extraordinary honor to be here. one of the best parts of my life is being able to celebrate other people. It turns out being celebrated yourself ain't so bad. I was kind of feeling humble about it, but now I'm like, all right, let's go. And my God, those kids lit me up. Karen, thank you. Those words were beautiful. Almost read like one of my staff wrote them. They were amazing. It was great. Michelle, for your work here at Junior Achievement, it's so important. And all I could think about today listening to these kids, except for the fact that Harper is now going to be enrolling at Colby. She's got a letter of admission. She's in. It's all good. Don't worry. I'm like, I just, I was thinking and listening to these kids, sometimes we worry about the world ahead and what it's going to be like. And then you see America's youth come up and you see their creativity, their poise, their brilliance, their desire to do something more. And how can you not want to support that, right? And that is Junior Achievement. When you see that, and you see in the schools everywhere, to me, the most fundamental parts of any community begin with education and healthcare. Without those two things, everything else falls apart. You never have a strong workforce. You never have a strong community. You never have an economy that makes opportunities for other people without those things. Junior Achievement is about making sure that education in our schools is going to be as strong as it can. They talk about believing in possibility, believing in possibility. When you see the students who are up here earlier today, how can you not believe in possibility and want to do everything that we can ourselves to make that come to life for them? To see those statistics that we saw earlier is to see statistics that say this American dream may not last. That the American dream that we've all lived with throughout our life, that we can make the world better for the next generation, that their opportunities will be greater still than the ones that we had. That's what my parents believed. They were teachers. They made it possible for all of my family to be able to do more and more. We could take our talents wherever we wanted because they were willing to sacrifice for us. They would work hard. They would make sure that if we saw a possibility, we could make it come true. I can say, I know everybody in this room would agree with this. That American dream is not going to die here. It's not going to die with the people in this room. It's not going to die in the state of Maine. But it means that we have to continue to create those kind of opportunities for the next generation to ensure that they can do the amazing things that's in their potential to do. We felt that in so many different ways today. I fell in love with Maine when I was a child. I came here with my family. There were 9 of us in my family. And my father had a friend who had a camp up on a lake in Maine. And they gave them a week to take us on a vacation. And we had never been on a vacation like this. So the 9 of us got into a 1970 Dodge Monaco station wagon, a kind of a, you can call it any kind of yellow you want, but it wasn't a pretty yellow on this wagon. And it had fake wood paneling on the side. So you know how it goes. So with 9 people in a station wagon, you've got 3 up front, 3 in the middle, and then 3 in the back, and the 3 in the back are looking backwards. Do you remember those? You have to be of a certain age to remember those. And there is not a seatbelt anywhere to be found in this car. It's truly a death trap. And so, we left our home in Worcester, Massachusetts, and we're driving up to Maine. And when you're all stuck in together, and we lived in a small house, the 9 of us, and so we were used to sort of being, cheek by jowl and having elbows in our guts all the time. But, you're getting through a ride, and you're like a little frustrated with each other because we were always frustrated with each other. We were close in age. We drive each other nuts. So we're driving up to Maine, and my parents were educators. They weren't engineers, as you'll understand from this story. In fact, you might even say they might not even been educated by the end of this story when I tell you it. So I'm a little worried about that because they deserve better in all of this. But we didn't have a lot of room for luggage in a car with 9 people. There is no trunk because the trunk is the 3 of us sitting backwards, looking at cars and giving them the truck's middle fingers as we go by. And so, so where are we going to put the luggage? Well, we didn't have luggage, so my parents got us a group of garbage bags. And they said, pack your stuff in these garbage bags. But we did have a roof rack, and we had some ropes. So we put them on the roof rack, we tied it down, and everything was going great. We made it through Massachusetts, we made it through New Hampshire, and as it turns out, there's a big bridge that you come to when you get through New Hampshire and coming in to Maine. And you see the Welcome to Maine sign. It also turns out you can feel the wind pick up sometimes over that bridge, enough that it ripped off every single bag on top of the roof, right in the middle of the bridge, with cars flying by, the clothes all over the bridge. It was my oldest brother and my father got out, and they were running, grabbing clothes, shoes, everything off. A lot of the stuff was gone forever. Not an auspicious beginning about loving Maine. But being at that camp was extraordinary. You know, the kind of freedom that you have in Maine, the connection that you have to nature, to beauty, to being with each other as a family. It was one of these extraordinary moments that I will never forget. You know, we didn't shower for a week, but we did jump in the, we jumped in the lake. We were a little ripe at the end of it, but it didn't matter, because for us, it was this kind of taste of freedom in this sense of what another kind of possibility. It wasn't again until I finished high school, and right when I finished high school, about 2 days later, I moved up to Maine. I moved to Ogunquit, Maine, and every summer in college, I came back to Maine, and I worked in restaurants. I'd have 3 jobs during the summer. I'd do everything I could to pay for college, and I loved it. I loved Maine. I love the quirkiness of it. I love the people who are here. I love the beauty of this community, and it got into my soul. I said, someday I will be back in Maine. And boy, when the Colby came knocking, I was like, wow. I was living in Chicago at the time with my family. We said the chance to live in Maine, to be part of this community, was something that there was no way that I could pass up. And to be part of the Colby community, this extraordinary college with such a rich history, with such potential, with such possibility, that too was just too good to give up. It was the right choice for us, but more so than we ever could have imagined at that time, to be in this amazing state, a state where people look out for one another. Whenever you live in a community where you have that, you never want to give it up again. For so many communities where you can feel soulless, where you don't feel like the people next to you know you, where people are not looking out for each other, they're not looking out for the best interest of others, they're not about the community. I never want to be in one of those places again, because when you're in Maine and you feel that, it's something that gets into your soul. It is something that's so important, and it's about how do you keep making that happen. And at Colby, we have the privilege of being able to make that happen time and again, and I love that. But it's because it's in the history of our place. It's in the history of Waterville, Maine. You know, in 1929, when Colby could no longer stay on the campus that it was in, it was too small. The buildings were breaking down. This is a college that was founded in 1813, and they were ready to move away from Waterville. Instead, the people of Waterville got together and said, we're going to raise money to buy the land for you to stay here in the city. Colby was struggling. Waterville was going well at that time. And they did exactly that. They raised $107,000, literally passing around the hat. Oh my God, if we had this crowd there tonight, we would have had even more land. And what they did, you know, they bought this land on top of a hill and they deeded it to Colby. Colby moved its entire campus up there over a 30-year period. No money at all for this college, but a lot of guts, a lot of determination, a lot of sense of possibility. And they created a campus that is one of the envious campuses of the country. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And it gave the opportunity for Colby to grow and thrive over the next decades. At the same time, we saw what happened to Waterville, what happened to so many different cities and towns in Maine and across this country, where the economic base of the city, the mills, both the textile mills and the paper mills, pulled out. You know, that's a moment, right, when you start to see that. You know, when Colby needed a hand, Waterville lent that hand. And we wanted to make sure that when Waterville needed that hand, that Colby was there for Waterville. That's what you do in Maine, right? We've got the mayor of Waterville here tonight, Mike Morris. This is a community where we care about each other, we watch out for each other all the time. And now you heard $250 million of new reinvestment in downtown, 40 new businesses that opened in our 4-block downtown, 2 new art centers, new hotels. It's just amazing to see how things have changed. If you haven't been up to Waterville lately, come on up. It's an amazing place to be. But that's what it means to be in Maine for me. So when I look at the future of all of this, I see Maine as a place where community matters, where people really do extend a hand to one another. You know, I have to tell you this because I have some of my members of my board of trustees here tonight, including my chair, Jane Powers, and there were many boards who would have looked at the idea that we should be doing all of this for Waterville as completely nuts. Why would a college do this? We've got enough to do on our own campus. But they too believed in the power of community, and they believed in the idea that a private college could be for public good. And the more that we have colleges that believe that themselves across Maine, but across this country, the kind of things that we're dealing with in higher education right now, including the distrust that many feel in our institutions, it will go away. We need to be much more connected. We might need to be doing more good every single day for our communities. And I can tell you at Colby, that is so high on our priority list, we are never going to let that go. You know, I just have to say a special shout out to one of the trustees who's here tonight, who was one of the first people I met in Maine, and who's a Hall of Famer himself, Joe Bolis, who's sitting here. His company, you know, his company just celebrated 50 years in Maine. And as a Hall of Famer, you know, he told me Roger Goodell would be here tonight, would be like giving me a yellow jacket. I'm like, Joe, where the hell is he? I know it's coming. But I have to say, following in your footsteps is an incredible honor for me as well in all of this. This, to me, to be with you tonight, to have what we are doing represented, it's not about me. It is not about me. This is about the work that this college is doing every single day to make sure that this state is as strong as it can possibly be, that the young people that we saw tonight and all the other young people across this state have options in their life. They have possibilities. They can see them. That the American dream is alive and well in this state. If we all focus on that, if we do our little bit, whatever it might be, if it's in our company, it's in our institutions, it's in our personal life, we find a way to just make it a little bit better for the next generation, there will be no statistics like we saw earlier. The future will be as bright as it can possibly be. Maine needs that. This country needs that. And if we can do it, we should all gather together and make sure that our energy, our passion for that is poured into it to ensure that Maine is going to be the state that is going to be the envy of this country, but this country will continue to be the envy of the world. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. That is an impossible act to follow. My name is Kathy Leonard. I'm a nobody. Thank you. I was a laureate, awarded that in 2021, and I much appreciate it. It was a wonderful honor. But my connection to junior achievement goes back, gosh, what is it? It's too long ago for me to even say this, but I was in high school in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I joined the junior achievement group, and I had a great experience, and here I am, all these years later, owning a company, and it sort of ties in with David's speech, is that I moved from Florida for quality of life reasons and moved to Maine, and here I am. I started a business in 1979 in Mechanic Falls, Maine, and I'm still here. The business is still here, and we are manufacturers of textiles. Who would ever think that you could do that? But you can do that in Maine, and we did it right, and we're still doing it right, and we're still moving forward. So I'm so pleased to be here with Junior Achievement. It helped me give me the thought that maybe I could run something one day and own a business. So here we are. I've been at this for 46 years. But I am so glad to be here to introduce a woman who's so wonderful. I mean, I can't believe her resume here. LuAnn Ballesteros, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm so excited, is the Vice President of External and Government Affairs at the Jackson Laboratory, where she leads a team of government relations professionals to advance policy initiatives, build strategic partnerships, and identify funding sources related to research, biotechnology, and healthcare. I'm breathless. She is also a member of the JAX leadership team. She brings a wealth of experience to her role, having previously held positions at JAX, including Director of Government Relations and Senior Development Officer. Ballesteros joined JAX in 2005, following an executive career at Bangor Hydroelectric Company, where she was instrumental in formulating and implementing the company's government relations strategy. An active participant in the state's business community and a graduate of Maine Development Foundation's Leadership Maine 11 class, Ballesteros is immediate past chair of the Maine State Chamber of Commerce and appointed member of the State Workforce Board and the Maine Economic Growth Council, and a member of the Machias Savings Bank Board. She is a former member of the Maine Innovation Economic Advisory Board and former board member of the Maine Cancer Foundation, Bangor Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, and Bangor Y. Whew. In 2024, she was awarded Maine Development Foundation's Kenneth M. Curtis Leadership Award. LuAnn earned her bachelor's degree in paralegal studies from Husson College and an associate's degree in early childhood education from the University of Maine, Farmington. Let's learn more about LuAnn's investment in Maine's business community.
It's a pleasure to join LuAnn's family, friends, and colleagues in celebrating her induction into the Maine Business Hall of Fame. Throughout her career, LuAnn has been an untiring advocate for Maine's economic growth and workforce development.
I would say that she is a person who was born to serve and destined to lead.
One of the things you notice right away when you start spending time with LuAnn is how invested she is in the success of Maine's economy and the individual communities that become part of Maine's economy.
LuAnn has a very strong, independent voice, very proactive, out-of-the-box thinker.
LuAnn is very candid. She will let you know exactly her thoughts on any matter, really, that comes to the front. She is funny, she's informal, and is very warm.
Her style was very engaging. She was easy to talk to. She was very welcoming and warm, high energy.
When she makes a commitment to something, get out of the way, she's going to see it through.
She was willing to admit she didn't know something if she didn't, and that was rare, but...
You know, one of the things that always impressed me about LuAnn is the amount that she knew about not just the business at JAX, but other businesses across the state and challenges they were facing and opportunities that we might all be able to work together on.
She sets the standard, and she's raised the bar. LuAnn has very little patience for mediocrity. She expects a lot from herself. She wants to see people succeed. She wants the state of Maine to succeed. And she works really hard to do what she can to play a part in making that happen.
I think what LuAnn highlights with respect to junior achievement is her focus on innovation as a cornerstone of the Maine economy. It's central to what certainly we do at the Jackson Laboratory, but it's also the attention that she's brought through her role at the Maine State Chamber of Commerce, for example.
The state for years tried to put forward a bond issue that recognized the value of research and development. We tried so hard and could never get people to appreciate, to understand it, even to put the bond issue out for a vote. Well, actually, LuAnn changed all of that. She came in with a very persuasive argument. She spoke with governors, she spoke with legislative leaders, she educated the public. Next thing you know, there was a bond issue of $50 million that was agreed to by the legislature that would be put out to the voters the next year. The next year was 2017, it passed overwhelmingly. And since that time, it still remains a recognized priority, and so much credit goes to LuAnn Ballesteros.
With respect to the relationships that LuAnn has with our elected representatives, I think the word to use is trust. I think she has worked authentically and built incredible trust.
As Director of Government Affairs at the Jackson Laboratory, LuAnn has been an invaluable asset whenever I have needed insights and information to strengthen our investments in biomedical research. LuAnn, your exceptional leadership is indeed matched by your commitment to service and progress. Thank you for all that you do. Congratulations, and keep up the great work.
So after the video and all the comments, I think I'm just going to tap out and go back to the table because I'm not sure I can compete with all that. But thank you very much. It's really surreal to have all those people on the video talking about me. They're all people that I really respect and admire, and that makes it super special. I don't know who managed to get Senator Collins to do a video, but if it was one of my staff and you didn't tell me, I'm going to kill you guys. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Heather, Larry, Mike, obviously Senator Collins. We've all done some really meaningful work together, collectively and as individuals. Like so many of you here tonight, I can't even begin to tell you how many dinners I've had in this room and other rooms like this across the state. And I usually, on my drive from Portland to Bangor, by the way, David, you only want people to come up to Waterville? What about people going down to Waterville? Sorry, I absolutely couldn't resist that. And that's particularly true. I want to tell everybody here that lives north of Augusta, the weirdest thing is going to happen. When you go home, it's going to take you twice as long to get to Bangor in the upper region as it did to come down here. It's just a weird phenomenon. But I think sometimes the shortest speech is the best speech, and so I'm going to do my best to try to keep this program on track so everybody can get out on time. First, I want to congratulate David and Guy. Guy was on the board when I first went on the workforce board. He was a fantastic chair. We really miss him. But I'm really honored to have been selected and to be one of the 3 people that's inducted. You guys are awesome leaders, and I really appreciate the honor. I'm going to have to put my glasses on. So thank you to Junior Achievement. Michelle and Jamie, you guys have been fantastic to work with. We do a lot of events at Jack's. I have a really tough team, Carol Lamb, Lori Morneau, and they've been raving about what an organized group you guys are and what a great job you've done, so thank you so much. Thank you to the nominating and selection committees, the volunteers. Thank you not just for this award and for this remarkable program tonight, but for the work that you do. These kids, it's remarkable, absolutely remarkable. I'm amazed, and I could learn a few things on how to public speak from everybody that was up here. But you're helping young people across our state to see what's possible, giving them the tools to go after it, and that's really powerful and critically important in a state like Maine. To my mentors, there's a bunch of you here. Thank you. To my friends and colleagues at Jack's, you guys are awesome out there. Thank you for walking this path with me. You've challenged me, encouraged me, humored me, and let's face it, Doug, you're over there, sometimes called BS on me, but always you've reminded me to keep growing. Thank you to the Jackson Laboratory for being such an amazing employer.
I'm so proud to be in my 21st year at an organization with such a noble humanitarian mission, a deep commitment to educational and career opportunities for its employees, and a culture of community engagement that supports volunteerism through a paid time off program that encourages everyone, not just the folks that are on salary, but the hourly people, to be able to give back and volunteer because they couldn't afford to do so if they didn't get paid for leaving work. To my family at this table here, and a couple of other smatterings around the room, thank you. To my patient, hardworking, and fun-loving husband, Mike, I know him a lot, and everyone in our family appreciates your quiet ability to modulate me. To my 5 amazing kids, they're all here, my sons-in-law, my daughter-in-law. You guys are what makes me tick. Thank you all for sharing me and my time over the years, for supporting my endeavors. So much of what I do is about you and about our 5, soon-to-be 6 grandchildren. Their energy, their curiosity, their wide open futures are daily reminders of why my work at JAX and on the various boards I serve on matters. As the middle child in a family of 7 kids, we have a lot in common, all that elbowing and stuff, fighting for food at the table. I think I've always been drawn to the part where things are in motion, where the dust hasn't settled yet and the outcome isn't guaranteed. That space between what is and what could be has always attracted me. A close friend and colleague, someone I've known for more than 30 years, who worked with me at Bangor Hydro and now she's part of my team, said to me recently, "I think you're addicted to the before and after." I thought a lot about her comment, and I think she's on to something. I do love transformation. I love seeing potential become reality, whether it's a person stepping into their confidence, a team finding its rhythm, or an idea becoming something tangible. Those things really light me up. Over the years, I've had a great privilege of being part of super accomplished teams, of leading my own teams, and learning, sometimes the hard way, that leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about listening, adapting, and lifting others up. To me, that's where the magic happens. And Maine's the perfect place to do that. We're a small state, but we're resourceful. We're grounded. We know and care about our neighbors. And that spirit has shaped every step of my journey. Like junior achievement, for me, it's about community, about legacy, and about contributing in a way that reflects our values. Junior achievement's more than a program. It's the spark that lights a fire. It's the transformation of a student or students, like we saw today, who are unsure of themselves or their future, who complete the program with a new sense of self and with a confidence and a vision of what's possible. That's what tonight's really about, not just looking back at what has been and what's been built, but looking ahead to what's next. The future leaders of Maine are already here. They're watching, they're learning, they're dreaming, and they need us to believe in them. They need us to show them that success isn't just about titles or profits. It's about purpose, resilience, commitment, and heart. And they need to see that leadership comes in many forms. It's not about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the one who listens, who lifts us up, who's present and accountable, and who leads with integrity. To the students here tonight, be curious, be brave, and don't be afraid to fail. On more than one occasion, when I hit a rough patch growing up, my mother would remind me, there are very few lessons learned on top of the mountain. You learn the most in the valleys where it's dark and damp and scary. I've had my share of time in the valleys, and my mother was right. Just keep looking and moving skyward. To all of you who made the effort to be here tonight, thank you. Let's keep showing up for our young people. Let's mentor, encourage, and open doors. In the words of Tim McGraw, when you get where you're going, don't forget to turn back around and help the next one in line. Because when we do that, we're not just building great businesses, we're building Maine's future. Thank you again for this incredible honor. I'm proud to be part of this community, and I can't wait to see what we create together next.
Good evening. So pleased to be here with you all tonight and have the opportunity to introduce our third and final 2025 JA Laureate. I'm Ellen Belknap, architect and principal with SMRT. As a 2024 laureate, I can personally attest to what a huge honor this award is. It's now a great pleasure to be part of welcoming and expanding Maine's Business Hall of Fame to include Guy Langevin. Guy's career represents the opposite of the Peter principle. Every promotion he received, every position he stepped into, he excelled at. Guy is one of the state's foremost organizational development people, leading the Dead River Company and their 1,200 employees throughout the entire state. He's currently an executive advisor to Dead River. Prior to this, he was the executive vice president of human resources and chief administrative officer. Guy served as the chairman of the Maine and Company Board from 2018 to 2023. When I joined this board, I was immediately welcomed by Guy. He was cordial, confident, capable. Guy ran a tight meeting and made sure everyone was heard, valued, and stayed on track. Thank you, Guy. Guy is a longtime champion of Maine's workforce and economic development efforts. He has demonstrated a special ability to work with anyone for the good of Maine, as exemplified by his appointment to serve on the state's Workforce Development Board in 2017 by Republican Governor Paul LePage, and appointed in 2019 to serve as chairman of this board by Democratic Governor Janet Mills. Guy is a passionate supporter of junior achievement. He served on the board of Junior Achievement of Maine for 14 years and served as board chair from 2014 to 2016. In 2018, Guy was nationally recognized by Junior Achievement USA with the Gold Leadership Award for expanding student impact in Maine. Let's learn more about the impact Guy has had on Maine.
Guy's been with Dead River Company for more than a decade and a half. I have leaned on him repeatedly during our time together. In that time, he has served in a prominent leadership role and has demonstrated himself as someone who draws others into his circle.
Nobody understands building teams and relationships and organizations better than Guy Langevin.
While he quickly became known for being very strong in the HR field, it wasn't long until Guy became very involved in the business and added his voice to our strategic direction as a leader in the organization.
Like, this guy knows his stuff. How am I going to be able to find the employees that I need to make this organization, whatever organization it is, to make this organization successful? How do I find those people, and then how do I build a team?
One of his key contributions has been the mentorship and development of others. I think about all that he's given back, and I think that people, as they come up through business, should be thinking about that.
I met Guy at a really pivotal time in my life as a recent college graduate from UMaine, and had the opportunity to have an informal interview with Guy at Dead River Company. In that meeting, he gave me 2 pieces of advice. When you meet with people like me in leadership roles, make sure that you ask, who can you put me in contact with? And then the second piece of advice he shared with me was to volunteer somewhere to get your foot in the door. I really took that advice to heart And so at the end of the meeting, I asked him who he could put me in contact with, and he smiled and said, "You were listening." And he asked me if I had heard of Junior Achievement of Maine.
I was new to the nonprofit world. I was scrambling as fast as I could. I had a SCORE mentor. I was getting a master's using my GI Bill to try to learn it. But at the end of the day, I really didn't have any street smarts when it came to nonprofits, and I was building this thing from scratch. Guy Langevin took 2 hours out of his day. I was expecting to meet with him for maybe 20 minutes. I know he was busy, whatever. He sat down, and it was one of the greatest mentoring sessions that I've ever received. I didn't know it was going to be that.
My dad, I feel like it's pretty special to say he volunteered the K through 8 at my school. I remember in kindergarten, the first time he came in, I was like, this is so cool, my dad's teaching, like, this is so weird. He really tried to give us as much guidance as he could, just because he didn't have that. Through JA, obviously, that was all they did, was just helping us like figure out what are the next steps of like college, what do you want to do, and how to get there. He told me, 22-year-old Michelle Anderson came into his office asking for networking advice, and here I am just a few years later asking Michelle Anderson for networking advice.
It's sort of a cycle that just continues.
He wants to elevate people. He wants to put people in situations that they can shine.
To select someone as a laureate for the induction into the Business Hall of Fame, Guy is a superb choice.
Whether it's in his job, whether it's with Junior Achievement, whether it's in the State Workforce Board, wherever his interactions are, he's consistently mentoring people. He's consistently trying to build them up.
I was honored and blessed to be able to know that for a number of years, when I encountered issue, I was able to pick up the phone and on a moment's notice call Guy and say, I haven't seen this before. Something's happened. Can I talk to you about it?
He is truly an incredible, incredible person. It honestly makes me emotional thinking about.
Oh, beyond proud. I feel very proud of him.
So to Michelle, I'm not crying, you're crying. What was great, I've been connected with Junior Achievement for years, and so I've been coming to this event for years, and it is, it's just amazing to be here, so thank you. I will say thank you. I did pick up some common traits that I shared with David and LuAnn. I'm one of 8 kids. So we crammed it. You don't have that many seatbelts in a station wagon too. And LuAnn, my spouse calls me a lot too. So we have that in common. And David, I'm guessing you just didn't say it, but but the third thing is just this deep love for Maine, and you don't commit to the hours and the sweat and tears to doing the things that we do without having a deep love for Maine. So I promised my family I wouldn't tell any dad jokes, so I'm going to cut that. That actually cut down my speech because I know that I stand between you and bedtime. So, but I do want to tell you a little bit about the organizations I've been involved in, a little bit about me to understand why these organizations are important to me. But let me start by saying I love Maine. I was born and raised here. I'm a first-generation college graduate. I was responsible for funding my own education. Back then, there was a free college program. They called it enlistment. So I am a veteran of the United States Army. Thank you. Thank you. And 5 years later, I was debt-free and ready to return to Maine. But I have to tell you a little story. Transitioning from active duty service to the civilian workforce is incredibly difficult. Primarily because when you come out of the military, you don't have a business network to tap into. And Michelle Anderson talked a little bit about that, like you gotta find that network. It's, the other part is a lot of employers don't understand the transferable skills you get from military service, so there's that breakdown too. So I was, at this time too, it was also Maine the economy was struggling at that time. So there weren't a lot of jobs available. I sent countless resumes to Maine employers and really wasn't hearing anything. And I thought if I could just meet with someone, maybe I could get them to see my potential. I finally got my break when an HR manager brought me into interview, and I was really excited. I prepped for days, and not to brag, I nailed that interview. It was to this day, I still think it was my best interview performance. I was certain I was going to get this job, really only to be told that I wasn't quite right for the role. However, there was another opportunity if I was willing to relocate to Massachusetts. Sorry, this is what my kids are like, oh God. Sorry. Having few other options, I relocated to Massachusetts. I took the opportunity. Obviously, I eventually returned to Maine, but it really shaped my perspective on what Mainers need. And really, if someone wants to live and work in Maine, they should be able to. Maine should have a strong economy with available jobs. Mainers should have access to workforce development and training that prepares them for those jobs. And Maine should tap into military veterans as a talent source. So with that background, I've committed thousands of hours over the past 20 years to growing Maine's economy and its workforce readiness. Allow me just a couple of minutes to talk about some of the organizations I've supported. But before I do that, I need to start with Dead River Company. It's been important to me to work for a company that loves Maine as I do. A company that is committed to its Maine roots. We're the largest home heating oil and gas provider in the state of Maine. And from Fort Kent to Kittery, Machias to Rangeley, our team lives in and services every community in Maine. I don't know any other company that has that kind of reach in every community. We're committed to hiring military veterans, and our efforts have been nationally recognized. Although less than 1% of the US population serves in the military, 11% of our team has served or is currently serving. Yeah. Awesome, Dead River. And our training is the best in the industry. We've established a unique partnership with the Maine Community College System to deliver training to community college students using our facilities and our instructors. And although we know that we're training students that may very well go to work for our competitors, we do it for the betterment of Maine. Dead River Company also affords me the opportunity to work with some of the organizations I'm about to speak to. Let me start with Maine & Company. So Maine & Company is a partnership between leaders of many of Maine's most iconic companies and the governor's office, specifically the Department of Economic and Community Development. Maine & Company's mission is to bring jobs and capital investment into Maine. Probably some of you have never heard of Maine & Company, and if you haven't, there's a Ronald Reagan quote that might explain why. And Reagan said, "It's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't care about who gets credit." And that's been Maine & Company's mantra for 30 years. The next organization I want to talk about is Boots to Roots. So Boots to Roots assists active duty service members to transition into the civilian workforce. They provide support to both the service members and to Maine employers They provide that business network, and they help with the translation of those transferable skills. Maine needs to tap into this resource. We have a workforce shortage. Our latest economic development plan had identified a shortage of 75,000 workers over the next 10 years if we want to meet our economic growth goals. Each year, 200,000 active duty service members transition into the civilian workforce. Boots to Roots is unique to Maine, and it helps differentiate us, and that's a resource, that's a source of talent that we should be targeting. And then finally, I have to talk about Junior Achievement of Maine, which is near and dear to my heart. As you heard in the video, I met Michelle Anderson 15 years ago. I introduced her to JA. As the JA board chair, I promoted her to her current role of president, and she has made me look smart ever since. So I really take no credit other than just kind of pointing her and saying, go. So with that, I have to take this opportunity to make an ask, and it's really echoing a lot of what you've heard. But here's my ask. Help build Maine's future. If you're a business leader looking to develop your future workforce, if someone in your past has shaped who you are today, if you love Maine as I do, please volunteer in a JA classroom. You will inspire Maine kids. And I say that's a big statement, inspiring Maine kids. How can you? I can almost assure you that you will. And if you doubt me, consider the one statistic that was up there before, which is 56% of adults who had JA taught in their classroom as a kid went into the same career field as the person who taught them JA. That's an incredible impact. So just once, try it once. Please, that's my ask. Finally, as I wrap up, and I promise I'm wrapping up, I want to come back to the best interview performance of my life. Why would I think that was such a successful performance if I didn't get the job? Sometimes the role you apply for isn't the one you should have. That interview led me to another opportunity, albeit in Massachusetts. But years later, I ran into that HR manager and learned of another opportunity she had. After a long selection process, she saw the potential in me, and I got my dream job. And I brought her here with me so that you could meet her. I want you to meet my wife, Holly. I told you I nailed that interview. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I think we can all agree that the selection committee did a fantastic job with these three nominees. Can we just give it up one last time for all three of our incredible laureates? That is unbelievable. I am so inspired by you all. I hope one day to be as impactful as you are. So that brings us to the end of our evening. And I just want to leave you with two things. The first is gratitude. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for caring about young people, and thanks for giving your hard-earned treasure to support the students of Maine. It means so much. We cannot express gratitude strongly enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the second thing is a call to action. You just heard it. Don't leave this momentum here in this room. We built energy. We got excited. Take that with you. Go volunteer in a classroom with Junior Achievement. Go mentor a young person. Go make a difference in the lives of the people of Maine, because this energy can't stay in this room. We have to bring it with us moving forward. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful evening, and thanks for your support of Junior Achievement of Maine.